Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so jumping straight into this haircut, as you can see, I'm starting off by picking out my client's hair. We are going to be doing a transformation on this cut. You know, he had the fro going for a while, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to cut it all down. He wanted to go back to wave length. So yeah, that's what we're doing, a transformation cut. And as y'all can see, I'm picking out the hair. Reason why I'm doing this, guys, is I want to make it easier for this hair to feed into my clippers. If I don't pick it out, it's gonna be a lot harder. It might hurt my client. You know, it's just gonna take me longer for me to actually cut the hair. So I'm picking it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do this a couple times, make sure it's all picked out, just so it's easier for this hair to feed into my clipper. So my client did say he wanted about wavelength. So 9 times out of 10 when my clients want about wavelength, guys, I start off with a number 2 guard, and that's what I have here on my ergos. I have on my number 2 guard, and I'm cutting the hair with the grain, meaning I'm cutting the hair the way that it grows and the way that it wants to lay naturally. So I'm coming forward with it, and like I said, I'm starting off with this number 2, and then seeing the way the hair looks after I do this will determine if I'm gonna cut more or leave it at that length. I know sometimes, you know, like, I just want to say that wavelength isn't necessarily one specific number, because different hair texture and different you know, the way people's hair lays, the amount of waves they have, how good their hair is trained to be cut or not cut, how good their hair is trained to lay down. Sometimes wavelength could be a 1, you know, I've seen wavelength a 1.5 or a 1, and then even a 2. So 9 times out of 10 I start off with a number 2 guard, and then like I said, I just go from there unless they specifically tell me they want a different guard. Like if they say, hey, I want a number 3 or I want a 1, then I'll start with the guard that they want. But most of the time when they say wavelength, like I said, guys, I start off with that number 2, you know, just to see what the hair does. And since we are coming with the grain, you want to be careful around that crown area and where that swirl is. You want to make sure you're combing the hair the way it actually lays. That way you can actually cut it properly so you don't patch your client in that area. So you want to take your time. You really want to inspect the hair and see what it's doing before you actually just start cutting.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
Alright, so now after I did my number 2 guard, you know, we looked at it and we decided we wanted to go down a little shorter. So I'm going in with my 1 guard lever all the way open, so that makes this a 1.5. And same thing, guys, I'm coming with the grain. I'm making sure I comb the hair the way it lays. That way I can actually see what's happening once I cut it down with this lever or with this guard. And for the most part, this is what's gonna be the finished length on top. So I'm gonna go over his whole head with this 1.5 and just make sure all the hair is down even. And same thing, guys, you want to make sure you're really paying attention to what you're cutting. You want to pay attention to the growth pattern. That way we don't patch the client, because you can't patch the client anywhere on their head. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the crown area or where that swirl is. You can do it in the front, because sometimes people have swirls in the front, or sometimes their hair just grows slightly different in certain areas. So you want to make sure you're really paying attention to that. And then also what you can do, I do it sometimes, it just depends on the client. Sometimes I leave the crown, you know, that little swirl area, sometimes I leave that a little longer. Sometimes I cut it down to the length. It just depends on exactly, you know, exactly what look we're going for. Not necessarily what look, but just it really just depends on how their hair lays and how their hair looks when I do decide to cut it. So I did leave his swirl a little longer, and now all I'm doing is giving, you know, a little brush session. That way we can lay the hair down so we can see what everything's doing. This really ain't gonna bring out too many waves. It's gonna bring out a couple of his waves, because, you know, he grew his hair out, so obviously the waves, they're still there a little bit, but they really ain't as dominant as he would have liked. So I'm just giving him a little brush session just so I can see what's going on. And now all I'm doing is, after I comb down that hair or I brush down the hair, all I'm doing is I'm going over it one more time. That way everything is nice and even, and just, you know, just making sure I'm dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's. And now, as you can see here, guys, I'm going in with my trimmer. I'm setting in my initial bald guideline for the taper. And we're gonna be doing about a mid to high taper, so we are keeping some of the C cup. You know, as you can see here, I'm lining them up behind, you know, in the beard area. You really couldn't see it, it was blurry, but I lined up the back of the beard, and now I'm lining up the back of the, you know, the neck area, you know, the behind the ear area. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now just because I have the trimmers in my hand. And you don't have to do this step now, but like I said, guys, I like to do it just because the trimmers were already in my hand. Sometimes I do it after I fade this side in. It just depends on what mood I'm in, basically. Now I'm going in with my lever all the way open, and I'm coming up about 3/4 of an inch, and I am using a slight flick out motion. And I'm following that same shape that I created with the bald guideline. And then as you can see, I'm gonna be adjusting my lever closed, coming down little by little. Now I'm going in with that number 1 guard. Lever is all the way open, and as you can see, I'm coming up another section. It's gonna be about 3/4 of an inch or so, and I am using a flick out motion. And as you can see, it's basically blending this, you know, this taper into that top, you know, the top length already. And then I'm gonna adjust my lever close and attack that bottom line.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
Now I'm turning my clipper, you know, the opposite way, coming in with that number 1. Lever is still closed, and I'm coming with the grain just to debulk some of this area that should fade into the, you know, the longer hair on top. Now I'm going in with my number 2 guard. And as you can see, I'm basically just cleaning up this taper, making it all come together. You know, I'm just making sure that the shorter taper blends into the length nicer, you know. So I'm gonna be going back down now. As you can see, I'm using my number 1 guard, lever open, and I'm doing some corner blending, just some detail work, taking care of any discrepancies that I see, any dark areas, and I'm gonna be adjusting that lever open and close, just trying to take care of every dark area or any discrepancies that I may see. Now here is my 0 guard or my 1/16 guard, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just still doing the same thing, guys, getting rid of these dark areas, trying to take care of these dark spots and make sure that this blend comes together. So as you can see here, I turn my clipper the opposite way, and now I'm going with the grain. And it's just another technique that I use sometimes when it comes to fading. You know, sometimes you don't have to do the same exact steps all the time. So I do these steps sometimes just when I'm trying to get rid of some dark areas that aren't necessarily coming out for me, you know, going one way. So I'll close my lever or adjust my lever slightly closed and come down with the grain just to see what it does. And for the most part, as you can see, that taper came together pretty quick, pretty easy. So now all I'm doing here is I'm lining them up in the front. I'm starting off in the middle, and I'm working my way over little by little. And you want to make sure you brush that hair away. That way you can actually see what's going on. And sometimes the hair tends to curl up. So after you give a few taps, you want to make sure you brush that hair down so you can see the way the hair is actually laying in the front. So now that I have that line up in the front, all I'm doing is going back in and doing some small detail work. Remember, guys, I say it in most of my videos, after I line them up, for me, it gives me more of a finished product and I can actually see some more of these discrepancies better. So I just go back in after I line them up just to tap at some dark areas and clean up the blend even more. And like I said, guys, the blend already looked good, but I came back in and I feel like I'm even bringing this blend to life even more. Like this taper is looking better just because I lined them up and I went back in and I detailed it. And that's just having that barber's eye, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta look at things from a different angle. You gotta line them up and then see how it looks, because this, like I said, since this is more of a finished product, that's how it's actually gonna look. So I put that line in and then I go back and detail it so I can see basically what the finished product is actually gonna look like. And we are doing a beard trim, so as y'all can see, I'm lining up that beard. I'm just trying to give him a nice shape, you know, still trying to keep it pretty full, you know, he likes it full. So I'm just giving that curve to it, fading the beard in. You know, the beards are pretty self-explanatory. I really don't know how to explain what I'm doing, but y'all just watch it and y'all can understand it, hopefully. want to give a huge shout out to my boy Tito Beats. I appreciate you, man. He's the one that's always supplying me with these beats. So if y'all like any of these beats, y'all head over to his YouTube channel. It's YouTube Beats Productions. YouTube Beats Productions. It's Tito Beats Productions. I don't know what I was thinking. His YouTube is Tito Beats Productions. Y'all head over to his channel. Make sure to subscribe. Also, you can follow him on Instagram. It's at Tito_Beats. And make sure to follow your boy on Instagram. Also, it's at Tank_B_chopping. And if you ain't already subscribed to this video, y'all make sure to subscribe one time for your boy. You know, I'm putting out content for y'all. I'm hoping y'all like it. But anyway, we're moving on to the back of this taper, and as you can see, we're doing the same exact thing that we did on the left side. I did do the right taper, but obviously I just didn't record it. So we're doing the same steps. They might be slightly different, but y'all can just follow along and see what's going on. And if you have any questions about anything y'all see me doing here, make sure y'all get live in that comment section. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, I mean, y'all just let me know. Let your voice be heard. I'll make sure to respond to you as soon as I can. Also, if y'all like any of these tools y'all see your boy using, y'all can actually go to the Gamma Plus website or the Stylecraft website, and you can purchase these tools, and you can use my discount code TANK10, save you a little bit of money. And yeah, so go get you some tools if you're looking to cop some of these items and some of these tools y'all see in this video. So now that that is done, I'm moving on to the finishing touches. I'm doing some razor work, and as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm following those lines that I created with my trimmer, making sure all these lines are nice and sharp. And when you do this, guys, I can't stress this enough. You want to make sure you stretch that skin nice and tight. That way it lessens the chance of you nicking your client. And then we're gonna do the same thing to the front. As you can see, I had that hot towel on my client. You know, I like to do that hot towel. I feel like it makes the shaves a little easier for me. And also I do it because I feel that the clients find it relaxing. And you know, we're trying to tend to our clients, man. We're trying to make sure these clients, you know, leave the shop feeling good and looking good. So I believe, my personal opinion is, I feel that putting that towel on them helps them feel a little rejuvenated. You know what I'm saying?
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
Alright, YouTube, this is the cut. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comments, guys. If y'all like this haircut, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. I think we did a great transformation on this guy. If y'all like it, like I said, guys, let me know. Get live in the comment section. Just let me know what y'all think about this cut. Let me know what y'all want to see next, guys. I appreciate y'all, YouTube. Until next time, let's go.